Hi, I'm Craig Butler, professional football manager and father to top international players. Football coach to Jamaica's youngest and most talented players. Jamaica, why haven't we started the Premier League when the rest of the world has started already? You want people starved to death? Consistency is key to development. Anyone who says otherwise is utter madness. They're mad people. We have a Football Unfiltered exclusive with Leon Bailey, Raheem Sterling, and Jadon Sancho simultaneously. You heard it here first, folks. We dissect and present football in a way that you've never seen before. Trust me on that. Craig Butler's Football Unfiltered. Don't miss it.
And we're on.
Hi guys, and welcome to another show of Craig Butler's Football Unfiltered. Great to have you here. I'm here with Brandon, my co-host and sidekick for the show, as always.
Yeah, it's always great to be here. Enjoy doing the technical aspects, and as you guys see, we'll have a bunch of guests here. So coming on, so happy to have them on as well.
Yeah, we have Shane Brown coming in. Both in the US, and Devon Porter as well, who will be here. Devon does a lot of recruitment over the years for the national team. And Shane was also a professional player playing in Iceland for about 4 years before going into America. And now he's a dad and he's a good coach, and he's going to share some of his perspectives with us. We're going to introduce the world again to Raylan Paisley, Shoeshine, one of the best talents out of Jamaica that no one has actually known about because so we're heading into that. So welcome to the show, and let's go on. Let's bring on.
Well, actually, before we get to them, so the guests we'll bring you guys on in a second. First, I just wanted to address the local Premier League starting and what your thoughts are on it. So we have some details to share. So the local Premier League has officially have a start date of June 26th, but from which is about a month away. However, no clubs have really been training, and so that means they only really have a month to prepare from all these months off. So do you feel that's too soon to get started, or how are you feeling about that?
Listen, if you're at zero, it's better to be at one than at zero. You know, you have to start somewhere, and we're excited about that happening. So I think that once we start, we have to catch up to play with the rest of the world in terms of our highest level of football, and I think it's welcome that it started. Chris, you did a great job in working to make that happen, Chris Williams.
So part of it, they actually changed the format where this year there's going to be a split, like kind of almost like a Belgian type of thing, where top six will play another round robin after the first round, and then bottom six will play against each other in a round robin. And then in the top six championship group, then they become in the top four going to a semifinal. So it's a bit confusing, but it's kind of like the I guess the Belgian. I know there's a few other leagues that do
Belgian
it.
league is
How do you feel about that? Do you think that's warranted? Because I know those usual formats are to get better competition later in the season. So you're only playing the best teams are playing against the best teams. But do you think that Jamaica is ready for that type of competition? With most of the teams are usually on par with each other, even if they're top to bottom.
I think that it's important that way. Maybe it's a little early, I think maybe another year or two, and getting some of the development in and the younger players. And the good thing is that many of the older players have taken a step back, and the younger players are playing. I think Arnett Gans has an average age of 21 years old in their Premier League team that they're preparing. So I think that it's great that they can do that, you know.
Yeah.
And I think the format itself will be beneficial to us in the long run, you know. And I think it's a welcome change to what was there before, really.
Yeah, there was always talk about the formats, and maybe not everyone was too happy about it. So it's good. It's good that at least they're trying something new. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess yeah. So if you'd like, we can bring in our first guests. Who would you like to just bring everybody in, or how would you?
Let's bring in Devon first, and then we can bring in Shane after, and then Pastor, of course, can join us as well.
Okay.
Pastor Stennett from the St. Anne side of things.
Devon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
No.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we're hearing you. It's a little delayed.
Okay.
Where in the world are you now, Devon?
In Canada. I'm in Toronto.
In Toronto. It's not cold there now, huh? Nice and warm.
Oh no, we're having Jamaica weather right now.
Excellent. I see you in
It's
Jamaica.
29
jersey.
degrees right now with the humidity. Yes, I always support my national team, my country. You know, anything has to do with football. I first and foremost, I said to everybody, I'm living in Canada, but I'm Jamaican first. You know, so anything for the national team or football in Jamaica, I try to be a part of. I do a lot of work in and around Canada and overseas extensively, especially for the Jamaican national team.
Well, that's great. Brandon
right
is
now,
also from Canada, so we have two Canadians in the house, eh?
Brandon is from Canada?
Yeah, originally from near Toronto.
Where in Canada is he from?
From Brampton. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
about 10 minutes.
Oh, you're from Brampton.
Yeah, about 15 minutes out of Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably about 30 minutes away from me.
Oh, okay.
So tell us, a lot of people don't know who Devon Porter is, you know? Tell us some of the players that you've actually recruited and what you've been doing with your contribution to the national team and to Jamaica and all.
If I start the list, I mean I probably can't stop. But I've been doing this since 1996, into 98 when we get to the World Cup. Players like Marcus Gale, Robbie Earl, Fitzroy Simpson, Darrell Powell were some of the first wave. And then in the second wave, trying to qualify for the 2002, Micah Hyde and those players, Marlon King.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In recent times, Adrian Mariappa, Wes Morgan, to name a few. But any player you see comes out of England, I have some part to play. If it's just to scout and recommend players to Jamaica. But now I am going further. I am contacting the players myself and make the first initial contact. And then when I explain what we're trying to do in Jamaica, then I'll pass it on to the Jamaica Football Federation. And my good pal, Roy Simpson, I think is doing a wonderful job in terms of getting the players' documents processed and forth. But it's still a work in process because we want the top players out of England to represent the Jamaica. I mean, we have players like a homegrown player, I would say, like Leon Bailey, which I think Leon Bailey is, for his age, under 23, I think he's in the top 10 in the world.
Thank you on that.
And in Jamaica, we can produce ahead Leon Bailey because we have the talent.
Yeah, that's always a huge comment, that the players have the talent here, but the infrastructure is what's sort of holding them back, which is why everybody even suggests that anybody who has talent should skip local and try to find something abroad as soon as possible. Do you feel that should change, that local footballers here and young talent really should stay in Jamaica, or we should start focusing on ways to keep them in Jamaica to improve them better? Or do you feel that they should still be seeking opportunities abroad before they can get to that next level?
If we improve on the infrastructure in Jamaica and in the league format and the way how we play football, then players stay in Jamaica have earning power. We would like to get players out of Jamaica early, because in the real football world, like England or anywhere in Europe, Spain, Germany, I think they have the recipe to develop young players. And if what this is start building on the infrastructure. The fields are in a deplorable condition. Sometime when I watch the Premier League in Jamaica and the surfaces that they're playing on, I mean, it's not good. Even the national stadium. I think the national stadium should be of pristine condition to play international games. It's still a grade B field, I mean, in my point of view. I don't know how Craig think about it, but I'm pretty much sure as a football person, he will think the same way. The local training center. I have dialogue with the Jamaica Football Federation about what I think the training center should be. And the training center should be something of caliber. So when the players out of Europe walks on it and play on it, they don't miss anything from what they're used to in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I noticed they put an AstroTurf there right now, but football doesn't play internationally on AstroTurf.
Yeah.
You can train on it, yes, but for you to prepare the national team to go play away, I think is the best situation.
Very small.
Well, the reality is, any solution that you have that provides only one or two fields in Jamaica is going to reap a bad field, a damaged field, because you have so many people that are going to be using the field continuously. If you look at, for instance, a club like Genk in Belgium, they have like 6 football fields, the stadium, which no one plays on, a second team field behind the stadium that the second team plays in. So the only team that plays in the stadium is the first team, and everyone else trains on different fields going all the way back. So the fields get the rest, they get the nutrition that they need, and they're able to work. The next step, I believe, which is something I'm aiming at and working towards, and I've gotten some partners on, is developing a facility outside of Kingston, because there's nowhere in Kingston that can give you 6 fields. A facility in I'll say where it is, it's in the St. Mary area, that's going to provide about 4 football fields, plus a stadium, plus a turf field, plus dorm facilities. So that way we'll be able to offer that to the national team and several other teams, including European teams that want to come down on training camps. With that said, Leon Bailey was developed on these bad fields.
and that's the reason.
So you can't say that it can't be done. What is lacking mostly is the level of coaching and the coach's education. You know, we have a player, Raylan Paisley. He's going to be joining us soon. He's probably one of the best unknown talents ever in the history of Jamaica. Left footer, winger, skillful, powerful, explosive, strong, intelligent, well trained, well mannered, focused. And this is where we have challenges with our national program. And it's because we do not have a proper academy system in place, a national football system that comes from the youth all the way up, training in one particular way, with one particular system based on what our culture is, based on what our genetic, and our culture is based on the genetics. So if you have a man that is, if you have people that are naturally not too fast, the Spanish, they're not fast over distance. They're quick, but not fast. So they play tiki-taka football. Yeah. The Germans are strong. Yeah. Powerful. So they play a hard running game. When you look at Jamaica's system that we should be using, it should be a combination of our, because second to Brazil, I'll give Brazil that, Jamaicans are the most naturally skilled people in the world. We're faster than everyone else. We're extremely tenacious. We're extremely intelligent. Some of the, I keep saying it to people, the first open heart surgery was done by a Jamaican janitor, and he didn't get credit for it till years after. Now they have a statue to his name at the hospital. The fact of it is that if we can establish that culture, establish a manual, and work with the JFF, people like yourself, people like me, people like yourself, people like Shane, people like all of those great footballers.
You're frozen. Craig, I think I lost you there. I think you're frozen. Paige, Paige.
Okay, we're back. We're really sorry about that, guys. We had some technical difficulties. Devon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that, guys. We had bit technical difficulties, but we're back. I see that Pastor Omar Stennett dropped out. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
let's
yes.
bring in Shane. Let's bring in Shane. Hey, we're gonna have Shane join us with you. You know Shane Brown.
I've heard the name, but I don't know him. I never met him.
Okay, let's bring in Shane first, and then
Don't
we're gonna
forget
bring
I
in.
haven't been to Jamaica since 2008.
All right. Well, it looks like we have to bring him back now.
All right.
Hey Shane, how are you?
Okay.
Evening, gentlemen and ladies. Evening, gentlemen and ladies. It's a pleasure.
How you doing, Shane?
Um, good. So, Coach Porter, for the last 3 Gold Cups, I've been doing coverage and analysis for a local online games.
We're not getting you on the internet.
We're not
hearing you.
getting you. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
They're
Yep.
hearing you now.
All right, sorry about that. So, like I was saying, good evening, everybody. So, Coach Porter, I was saying, if you've been part of the last 2 Gold Cups, I'm sure I ran into you. I've been doing some online analysis of the games. I've been at the games, covering the games, writing about the games, and I've had, several interviews, the coaches, the managers, the players over the years. So, I'm sure I ran into you at some point. But a little bit about me. I left Jamaica in 1998. Grew up playing with Mr. John Green in Clarendon. Played with him since I was 8 till I was 16 when I left Jamaica. Played at Clarendon College.
That man is a legend. A lot of people have come to me and told me about his
Listen, Craig Butler.
Before you go further, Shane, do you know Laza?
Who?
Laza, Patrick Lowe, Laza.
Yep.
Okay, he's my mentor.
Small world. So yeah, but like I said, Craig, Mr. Green, is that guy was ahead of his time. A lot of his attributes, I see that in you, and the way you go about, trying to help the youths and put the youths forward. Because every footballer that come through Clarendon, Mr. Green and Mr. Plummer had their stamp on them. The way they had that park set up on Saturdays and throughout the week, they brought the balls, they brought the boots, they had kids from all over that was there, keeping them out of trouble. As an adult now, I oftentimes reflect on, the role a guy like that played in so many kids' lives, But unfortunately, he never got the credit for it, But I know the people that he touched personally, they can appreciate them. But anyways, football in Jamaica, I don't think there's one solution or two. We could talk about the fields. We can talk about the lack of coaching education. We could talk about the lack of access to opportunities. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But with that said and done, I'll still go back to with the limited facility and resources. I think a guy like Craig Butler was around in my time. We would produce dailies, several million dailies already, right? It's not a if and or buts. Know that, because Jamaica has always had the talent. I mean, we could talk about some guys that I could sit here and say today, do we see football differently or potentially work talent? But the guy like Craig Butler, who's gonna advocate for them and put them first. So I hopefully the country will recognize and appreciate, the attributes that Craig has and his willingness to try to help everybody on the island and embrace that, because it's sad to see. I'm sure I'm going off on a tangent now, but it's sad to see the guy that could help the country as a whole, he's not being embraced like he should be embraced. I left Jamaica in '98.
That's okay, Shane, man. That's okay, because everybody have their place and to do their work, I mean, when you look at all the people who made actual change, they were never embraced. They were never embraced. Nothing Bob Marley was embraced until after ended. So
that's true. That's true.
We have no problem with that. What I need to do is to continue to do the work, to bring in people like Raylan, who is down on with us now, and show the world the quality that these players have. As we say across the island, let's bring in Pastor and Pastor Stennett, who actually works and runs in the St. Ann area. He has a team, Prairie, which he's been working with for a long time. And let's bring him in. Pastor, welcome.
Greetings, one and all. Yeah, man, Mr. Porter, am I Is it too dark? Are you okay?
It's a bit dark, but
I'm
we
It's a
can.
good.
bit dark in the light down a St. Ann, Pastor.
All right, I soon get the lighter. Don't worry about it. JPS, we have a JPS increasing the rate of the thing. I don't know what's going on. Corona changed the price of everything in Jamaica.
But we, sorry guys, Shane, we can't see you anymore. So if you can, would you fix that? We'll get you back in. But yeah, Pastor, if you want to say a word
Yeah,
on
you know what? I think Mr. Porter know very well, and Mr. Butler, and greetings to you. But what I'll say is that because it's very salient what I've heard so far, and one of the things I believe that is critical to the development is something Shane said. It cannot be that we want to develop the nation's football, and the primary role of training or developing coaches is with the JFF. A Craig Butler, for example, and there are many others, should be certified that if he goes to St. Mary, he can, watch this, he can certify other people to coach because his expertise goes way beyond some of the persons who offer the courses within the GFF. It's not that they're incompetent, but he has the competence to do it. And there are many other persons like this all across Jamaica who could be used in the system outside of Kingston and St. Andrew. Part of what I also believe needs to change is this idea of how high school football is done, or the reliance on high school football. You hearing me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. The reliance on high school football. I think when it comes to high school, we should stop it at under 16. If you're over 16, you can't play in our high school leagues. High school football cannot develop people. And so what I'd love to see.
Hold on, Pastor. We have to remember this now. You will
Yeah.
have a Raylan Paisley or a Tyreek Magee or a Leon Bailey that at 16, they are way ahead of everybody else and they should be going into a pro setup. But then you'll have late bloomers who will need an academy system or a high school system to develop it by the time they get to 18. Same Chris Williams, who is now with the PFAJ. People don't know this, but Chris was my best man at my first wedding, but I've been married a couple times since. So, yeah. But Chris and I grew up in Meadowbrook together. And when Chris was 17 years old, he was about 5 feet 5 inches or 6 inches. Chris is now over 6 foot odd tall. Chris couldn't make our minor league team as a starter. He was on the bench because he was just too small. Yeah. Now, if we do not put up something in place for players who develop later, then we will have a problem. And that's where I believe you should allow a player who is 18 to play in a Manning Cup or a DeCosta Cup or in the youth leagues. And that's Belgium. But when you have a certain level of talent, you should move to the next level immediately. There's no reason to hold a player till he's 9. I remember Junior Fleming stayed and played an extra year of Manning Cup. For what reason? I think they had won 5 times or something like that. JC had won. Now, something like that.
Only Junior, Craig. Lamar Walker, the same thing.
Yeah.
Tyreek Magee, same thing.
Tyreek Magee. And no,
Alex Marshall.
Yeah, same thing. Tyreek was on our live last week. And one of the things he's saying is that his development in terms of becoming a complete player was not there. Even after winning Manning Cup, probably winning Olivia Shield, and being a top player, getting into the national team. It is when he reached to Europe, he realized that, hey, there's something is missing from my repertoire. My tools, something is missing out of my tool shed, and that was my right foot and right-sided thinking, And so that's one of the things that we should do. We should concentrate on how to get these young players developed at the highest level. And I can tell you, playing in the Premier League as it is now may not be the solution. Because playing in it as it is now I have a player that Raylan Paisley, top talent. I don't think there's a better left winger in the country. No shape or form, right? Skilled, unbelievable. But I don't want him to play Premier League. I don't want him to play Premier League. I want him to go back to Europe and play. Why? Because this is where his qualities will shine. This is where he will be able to make good money. This is where he can leave his legacy. You know? How you guys feel?
I have an example. I have an example that could looked at. So 2 years ago, there's a kid named Jalen Lopez. He was playing at Mount Pleasant, right? Scoring goals for them left to right. He was born in 2005. Good friend of mine's son that I played high school with, Brenton Lopez's son. Craig, you know him. You played his team a couple times in Portland, right? So he moved here. He moved here with his mom, and you know, his dad took care of him. I said, cool, I'll take care of him. He live in South Carolina. I live in North Carolina. Again, I coach for a small club here. I have about 80 players. Right, we are the best at what we do based on the players that we send into the state as a small club.
You break it up. You break it up again. Break it up.
Sorry. So the kid has as a 13-year-old, right? Because 3 years ago, he won the CONCACAF U13 in Cayman Islands with Mount Pleasant. He scored all the. He was the MVP. Kids like that should be embraced, right? But at the end of the day, there's nothing to for him. He came here, right?
Shane, this is important, you know. Shane, what you're saying to us is very important. I want to hear it, but you're breaking up. Sort out the internet. Break up, brother. Can't hear you.
Whoa. How about now?
Better now.
Sorry about that. So what I'm saying is this kid is right now he's 16. He's living in America, right? Yeah.
All right.
16. He's 16. He's living in America. He's been bounced around from club to club. He played at the highest youth level here. It's called ECNL, Elite Club National League, right? But a kid like that, the talent that he has, he should have been embraced. The JFF should be looking at him because when he played for us, you know, for a year, this is a kid that scored 3 or 4 goals every game, no lie, right? But again, you can look at the kid, talent. Man, I don't know how to explain the kid, but the professionalism is just not there, you know. And I think that's a big part of it. There's a lot of players from the Caribbean, Jamaica, Trinidad, you know, they get into spaces and they're not looking at the talent first. They're looking at your behaviors, right? So that's why,
exactly.
You know, again, Craig Butler, a thing where the kids, they learn how to speak properly. The interviews, the body language, you know, showing gratitude. All of those things, the kids need to have those in order to help them in as they go older, because they look at you and they want to know, are you a good person above everything else, you know? So I think it's not just the football, it's just the mentality, the mindset, you know? And again, a lot of that is not being pushed into the kids at a younger age. For whatever reason, I don't know. I'm older now, I can see it. But again, you have a guy who wants to put those things in place, and he's being shunned. You know, a guy that see it all. A guy that you can say have the blueprint. Because the space that Craig Butler is in now, the average Joe can't get into that space. I know that. That's a difficult space to get in. You know, when I went to Iceland in 2007, nobody knew about Iceland as a football country, right? But I saw all of the groundwork they did to go to a Euro championship, to go to a World Cup, you know, to winning a group with Holland and all of them. I saw all the groundwork, and they look at the complete person. It's not just the football. Everything they look at, you know. So again, it can be done in Jamaica. Iceland is 350,000 people, right? And they don't have half the natural talent like what's on the island. You understand? So again, you know, I hope that, you know, at some point we could come together and you know, do something meaningful, that everybody be on board, because one person can't get the credit, you know. It's going to take a collective effort, and I think right now it's a lot of egos that want to take the credit. You know what I'm saying? When all you have to do is just
Then, you know, the truth is, children live what they learn, though, you know. So you end up with a player that may not be well behaved or whatever. He just doesn't know, because if they understand the benefits to them that would arrive from better public speaking, good manners, and all of that, and good ambassadorship, then they would get the message. The challenge that we have is some players don't, and I think even with Raylan, I mean, Raylan, you've been to Belgium and to Turkey, to Slovakia, to Malta, and you've been around these people. What's your response to that?
And personal for me, in Malta and all those different countries, the professionalism is on a way different level. Everyone has to be on time, you know, on cue. European football comparing to local football is way different, you know. The protocol, everything is way different. You know, the system, the structure, everything is different.
I'd actually be interested to hear Coach Porter's, from your own experience. Do you experience that same thing? Maybe some of the younger kids that you see, maybe the professionalism isn't there, and do you have to personally guide them to get them where they need to be?
Yeah, even here we sometimes has the same problems, but you have to help them. You have to guide the kids. I am a head coach for a U21 team at Masters Football Academy, and I have players that say, for instance, my training session starts at 3 o'clock. They want to walk in at 5 minutes to 3, which to me it's late. When you come to my training session, you have to be there half an hour before. You have to get changed, prepare yourself to go on that field. Because when you come there, I'm setting up my training practice. I'm setting up system what I want you to do. And if I start and you're gonna walk in, you're not gonna train today. I'm sending you home. I'm closing the gate. This is how I operate. So the kids have to learn that. And in Jamaica, look at Walter Boyd. We don't know how good Walter Boyd could have been. He gets away with so many things because we know he's talented, and he's probably one of the best footballers we have ever seen in Jamaica. But at the same time, the discipline was not there. And if you don't instill discipline in children, you're not going to get them to go anywhere. As Craig said, children live what they learn. So if the coach is showing up late and not setting an example, the player's going to do the same thing. So you have to nip it in the bud. The first time it happened, you have to address it and make sure it doesn't happen again.
It's funny because within our model at Phoenix, we always have an alumni with the team. So, for instance, if Raylan is here in Jamaica for a period of time, he coaches. Travis Blagrove coaches. If Leon comes down for vacation, he's gonna coach. So, and they're even more, because I've gotten a little softer in my old age, you know. I'm Mr. Nice Guy, but they have gotten even more rigid players. I mean, and when I say soft, my soft is probably you guys like me, you know. But yeah, Raylan, I mean, sometimes they're late for training and he just makes them run the whole day. He doesn't send them back through the gate, because that would be too easy. Says just run. And they run the entire day. And I'm there sometimes, and I'm sorry for the little 10-year-old kid that's running the entire day. And I'm saying, come on, give him a break. He's like, no, you have to make them learn, because if they don't, they're going to make the mistakes that we made. Because a lot of the first group of players were like guinea pigs. You know, when they went into Europe, they didn't know what to expect. And they learned the hard way, you know. And that's part of the problem. So we can bash the JFF as much as we want, but I think it's time. There's a point at which we have to stop bashing them and try and embrace them and try and show them what we know, give them to contribute our part by whatever means necessary. Even this program, hopefully they will watch and they'll get something out of it. You know, I mean, you played professionally in Iceland for 4 years. 4 years you played in Iceland. Yeah. How many people know that?
Yeah.
How many people know
Coach,
that?
It's amazing, but everything you guys are saying, even Coach Porter, when they said they have to show up 30 minutes before, our club is 15 minutes. If we're traveling over 2 hours for a game, you have to be at least 2 hours before. You know, those are what we call standards. You know, and you have to have standards to achieve the very best of anything you do, right? And that's something that something that I learned as you get older. You know, the club that I'm coaching at, I see, it's not the talent that gives us the prestige that we have. It's to start from standards. You know, everybody doing the same thing. You know, you're dressing the same way. You know, everybody is on time. You know, everybody have to work, have to earn it. You know, all of those things. You know, those are things that, again, you're on the island and you're trying to put those things into place, and they're being shunned when they don't realize at the next level that's going to separate you, the good players, from the average players. You got to have those things instilled in them. So, those kind of things where, there's a consequences. They're not punishment. You run for the practice. If you don't like the consequences, you won't do it again.
Yeah. Well, but Pastor, what do you think? What do you personally do to maybe discipline some of the players?
I mean, I have had these experiences, so I can speak to it, because I have taken players from out of the high school system who I felt they weren't being treated well. In other words, they got to sixth form and they played, and then when the season was over, they were asked to leave and go back to the part of the rural area they were from. And so I helped some of these kids to get scholarship and go overseas. And here is the issue. It's like a reshaping of their thinking and their attitude and behavior. And that is the problem. And I hear Shane say, imagine a youngster leaving from Mount Pleasant that is supposed to be an academy and still has attitude issues. Imagine a player coming out of our high school system who was treated like a star. Let me tell you this. They come, and Mr. Butler, we just had this experience where with the priory thing, where a man telling you that him don't have no boots, that him want bus here to go. If him don't make a team, he have not made a team, and he's going to tell you that you need to start giving him bus fare. It's a whole cultural revolution concerning football, right? In the States, when you play football, you have to have your socks. Most Jamaicans come there with dirty, and I've seen this, dirty socks. They stink. Nobody wants to be around them. And it's green. Right? These things need to, and it has to be, and that's what I'm saying, the high school system is not properly equipped to deal with some of these things. And my whole policy is that right across Jamaica, there needs to be proper academy set up that goes beyond the football development, but the personal development, especially attitude, because we have a very toxic culture generally, and so we have to take these guys out of some of these communities. And that's part of what Mr. Butler does. If you don't take some of these guys out of their communities, what you do today gets overridden by what they face in the community that they live in. So it's almost like you have to take some of these talents out of their communities, bring them into the academy setting so you can work on their attitudes, work on how they project themselves when they go outside of Jamaica, when they do interviews, how they carry themselves. That you have to get up at a certain time. I can't see how our high school system is properly developed. And I'll go back to what I was saying earlier. We say there's no spot in the JFF, fine. But I'm saying, because you have seen Leon and so many others from Phoenix Academy, there's a value that can be added to the system. What is that value? Find some people across Jamaica. You are certified by us to certify them to set up academy systems based on this particular handbook. He creates the handbook and he presents this to the person in Westmoreland. And that person in Westmoreland must operate based on the booklet that is developed for academies. And so all the academies have similar attitudes, similar governance structure, though how they play the game may be different. I think until we get...
Well, I've already written three-quarters of that book finished already. And we have it. And that is how Belgium did it. There's a guy called Michel Soblan who was given that task by national team of Belgium about 15 years ago. And they utilized it, implemented it. The whole country played the 4-3-3. The whole country played a certain way, trained a certain way, behaved a certain way. And it was an easy transition into the national team. And see, you have Kevin De Bruyne, you have all of these players coming out of Belgium, the golden generation, Fellaini, the whole of them. So this is how it's done. The question is that we can't leave it up to the JFF to do everything. We have to do our part, and I think people like yourselves, some of those that are overseas, Devon and Shane, we need to see what you can contribute. Shane, what part of the country are you in the US? North Carolina?
So I'm in North Carolina, and I'm actually I was supposed to have 4 kids come up for 3 months to 6 months at a time, depending what the visa allow, to train with us and play with us and get seen by the colleges. But the COVID kind of put that to the side, because we had the accommodation and everything set up for them, because like I said, our club is small, but we have a program that we're getting kids from Mexico, kids from South America, kids that's in a Division 1 or a Division 2 club. We have a kid from Pachuca who, professional space is not going to be for him now, but he want to come here and play in a Division 1 college, and, they felt like our club is the best space to prepare them for that. So, I feel like when I saw that, I said, man, I need to see if I could do something for my own country, you know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
if a kid has a visa or have the means to get one, I would welcome that kid here in open arms. This kid I'm telling you about from Mount Pleasant, that kid had talent that he could make some money off the game, and I'm telling you, it's just the whole person. He never got that structure that is required, the work rate, the initiative, the drive, the focus, all of that stuff. He missed out on it.
You know what, Shane? The challenge is a lot of people believe that an academy is a building or a football field or a facility. It's not. It's a place of learning. So if you do not have the proper educators in place, then no matter how beautiful you could be living in a palace, if you don't have the proper educators in place, then you're not going to turn out quality players. And I'm not talking about quality as in just football. I'm talking about in their personalities, in their behavior. When you look at Raylan I was on the phone today and I was battling with an agent and a particular club that he's supposed to go to. And he had a challenge. So he was in Jamaica for a couple of years. And they were saying, hey, but there's not a lot of recent footage on this player. Why are you able to say so, that he's so great a talent? And it wasn't until the guy had a meeting with Leon, and Leon said, listen, that kid is the real deal. He is a flair player, he's powerful, all of this. But it wasn't until we take a stand and start to develop these players, we're not going to be able to support our national process. Because what you have is people like, for example, you have a challenge with a player to Mr. Stennett, from Pastor Stennett out in St. Anne, right? One of the academies.
Yeah, he's at Mount Pleasant, same thing. And that's what I'm saying. And you're so right. And I want to continue on that, because people believe the facility is the academy. The academy is the whole system of developing.
An institution.
It's developing the whole. And that is the same issue. This is the same problem. His attitude, he's a captain. He's a captain of that same under 13 team that you speak of, Mr. Brown. He was a captain. Skill.
Oh, yeah.
Talented. And here's the thing. Attitude.
The challenge with that is...
Yeah, I know them. I know who you're talking. I know Lopez.
The challenge that you have, is that when a player comes to me and he says, oh, I want to play for Phoenix, I get like 1 million. If I tell you the amount of requests I get to join Phoenix a day on Instagram and Facebook and the phone ringing. But then the next question I ask is, where are you now? Right? It says, oh, well, I'm at this club or that club. That says, so why do you want to leave? Oh, because I want to become a pro or whatever. you know, the biggest thing you can have is loyalty. And many of those players that did go to Mount Pleasant, they came from somewhere. They were the best players at their school. Some came from KC, some came from Woolmers, some came from all over the place. And if you are recruiting when kids are that young, you are removing their humility because now they believe that they're superstars. And that's where the development stops because they can't learn no more. And that's where the challenge is.
They didn't
That's
earn
what the
it per se.
challenge
They
is.
didn't earn it.
No.
But with all that said and done, you know, as much as we have some stuff we can improve on the island have so much to offer because my oldest son is 13. He started the game around 10. Doing fairly well, no concerns. But there's so much on the island that I want to give to him, you know. So we got to remember that we have a lot on the island to offer, you know. So that's why I'm planning to come bring him down there for a month.
Send him come. We'll sort him out. Send him come.
We
The Lord want to know.
we have
Yeah.
we have a good question I want to bring up that I think kind of falls in line here. So Alex Reed on YouTube is asking that well, particularly at Craig. So we'll start with you, Craig, then we'll ask the rest of the panel. But what are we thinking about Suriname? Obviously, they're bringing a lot of players internationally. Is there a risk or a threat for Suriname to maybe potentially pass Jamaica, even just in general football and rankings, and maybe even what they're doing locally? Because of what's happening in Jamaica, are we hindering that growth where these other countries in the Caribbean can actually jump Jamaica in the future? And I'm saying future maybe 10, 15 years, but
well, I've seen where the US was once on par with Jamaica. Now they've jumped us in terms of their development and their systems. I've seen where people are making the effort now. You know, I think the Barbados Football Association is making a big effort. But the truth of it is, you see them Sunday evening scrimmage games. Believe it or not, it creates a great deal of skill, and you will always have our raw materials, which are, I think, I would have to give it a history lesson in order to tell you why our raw materials are better. I'd have to go all the way back to slavery, and I can't, you know. But the truth of it is that we have the raw materials that are the best in the world. When you look at this guy, Raylan, when you see him, his calves are well built, he's physically strong, he's cut a certain way, he's focused. You get, it's like somebody, a sculptor, getting a good piece of wood. It just need a good carver. And the problem is we don't have the carver. It doesn't mean that the wood is still not good. Yeah? And that's where the challenge is. When you look at some of the smaller islands that may not have the players. I saw Cayman's under 23 play against us when Leon went on and scored that free kick a few years ago. And I even saw when Kyle was playing for the under 23, well, the 10 minutes that he did play. And the truth of it is, those players, they don't have the same raw material, you know, and they don't have the same infrastructure in terms of continuous football and the love for football. You know, so you may have in Jamaica, I could tell you have 90% of the population loves to play football or to watch football. You go, you are on Flow Sports and you all have these videos of the little kids doing brilliant things every day, everybody.
Just sometimes even just with a can on the side of the street. And
you don't find that. In America, you don't find that. In America, you have a small percentage of the population that is playing football. So a lot of their raw material go into American football. It goes into track and field. It goes into baseball or basketball. Our raw material is here ready for two things: football and track and field.
Well, that's the big thing about the U.S., where it's almost pay to play. So the people you see who are succeeding in the U.S. generally come from really decent backgrounds or wealthy backgrounds. They don't have that need to go out in the streets and do this because they have somebody paying their way through already. Where you can see here in Jamaica that everyone just has the passion for the game, and just a matter of locating where is it and finding the right guidance for some of these some of these youth. So I guess I think Shane, you want to follow up on that?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned raw material. That's a term that we use in our space a lot because it's like the last reference we made with that is like we're trying to use rice to make dumplings. It's impossible, you know. We don't have the raw materials, and the raw material is all over the island. Everywhere you go on the island, the raw material is there. You know, I give
Which brings it.
2 years
Which
ago.
brings it.
Huh?
Let me cut you for a second. Which brings in somebody like Devon. Devon has been going out and doing what? Scouting for the national team all these years. You heard the names the man called out a while ago? He's calling out the best English, Wes Margaret, the best English players that came, Mariappa, that came into the Jamaican system. He went out and you had a part in their recruitment. Now, why is this guy not being embraced? Why is this guy not saying, hey, listen, we sanction you to go and help, and here's a budget for your travel. Go and do this, and this. Go and find them. We have a country, right? If we talk about football, I want to, Shane, we could talk about if we want to develop at a certain level, right? Yeah. Jamaica has 3 million people here, right? And something like that, 3.2 or 2.8. Give or take a couple 100,000. How many Jamaicans are living in New York? I have a question. Anybody knows? You know, it's more people than in Jamaica, right?
2 million.
100,000 plus.
100,000 Jamaican in New York, over 2 million. Over 2 million.
Somebody take a stone and lick it in.
Over 2 million Jamaican in New York. In the entire New York, in the 5 boroughs. Yeah, man.
Try Connecticut.
Shane, we have about 500.
Try Miami. Try Florida. How much Jamaicans in Florida? How many have over in Canada, Mr. Porter? The point I'm making is our recruitment.
We probably have about 500,000 Jamaican in Canada.
There you go. How much in London? I think half of London is Jamaican.
It's Jamaican.
Yeah. Now, why are we not seeking to embrace, recruit, develop at the younger levels? Yeah. Create a relationship with your club. Masters. Let me give you an idea what could I do. Why we can't bring Masters Football Academy and your football academy? What's the name of your academy, Shane? Your club?
ID Development Football.
Yeah, internet again. Where's the Shane?
IDF, Interdevelopment Football.
Okay, IDF, right? Why can't we bring IDF Masters down and do the Phoenix Cup or the Jamaica Cup? And we bring clubs from Europe, England, New York. Yeah?
Yeah.
When we bring it down,
jump all over that.
We create a package, work with the hotels to get the hotels to get some tourism in and some income. Work with the airlines, work with a Duns River, a Hollywell, a Bob Marley Museum, and play some football. Here's what's going to happen as a result. 1, we're going to be seeing what our opposition is like. 2, you're going to see players that are down here that you may like and get opportunities in college for. 3, the Europeans will come and see and pick up some players. 4, people will begin to invest in Jamaica more because they see the quality that is there. Right? There's Boris over. Well, Boris is another Jamaican, half German, that lives in Stuttgart, I believe. And he has an academy over there that he's working with. Hail up, Boris. Respect. Right? So that's one of the things we should be doing. Yeah? If we were to create tournaments like that, sports tourism, that is missing from the package. Why is Leon Bailey not an ambassador for the tourist board? With the amount of people following worldwide.
Yeah.
Think about it.
And anything that has Leon Bailey's name,
Yeah.
it's instant, everybody's following, liking. Everyone just wants to know what he's doing because he's at that level, and everyone wants to, everyone looks up to him. Everyone sees him as, he didn't go from, like you say, like a very rich background and pay his way in. He fought his way in the whole time, and I think that's what a lot of people see, and they see where he's from, and and everyone connects with him. So
Marlon King, Wes Morgan, Mariapa, Fitzroy Simpson, you say? What's that?
Fitzroy Simpson.
Hey.
Naira Nasworthy. I can go on and on.
There's a man what we really need for work with.
Jeez.
You know?
But you know what I want. You know what is so amazing with this conversation. I think about, and maybe one of you can answer this. Jamaica, the under-20 team, the last under-20 team that went to play the tournament, right? And the coach, I think the coach left like a week before, and I think Jerome Waite went with the team. It's a team that had McGee and Topi and this youngster named Daly was playing. Daly was playing forward, right? So that team, and I think they, having been underprepared, they went up, and I think that Mexico went through based on goal difference at the end of the tournament. You know that Mexico team, the players moved to the Mexico under-23 team that qualified for the Olympics, and that same Jamaica under-20 team, like, where are they? Only McGee now is in the national team.
I asked
what happened to that? From what happened between them being 19 and them being 21? Like,
I'm going to share what happens. And it's very important you recognize that. A big part is the JFF problem, but a bigger part, really, is not being able to manage those players in terms of, all right, let me show you. You see this guy? I've had him for years. I don't want him drinking. I don't want him partying. I terrorize them. Sometimes they're out, and the other night they went out to a thing that Kevin Atkinson came home and he invited people over. And they didn't realize I was sitting right there in the parking lot watching everybody. Because no one is there protecting these stars from their peers. Their peers, their friends. Friends are some of the biggest problems you can have with young players that are quality level, high quality. Because the friends invite them to go out. Distraction. Then the women come. Yeah? And the women throw themselves at them. And then they're in a position where they start to feel like they're gods. You know? And as a result of that, the belly start to grow because they're drinking. They don't want to train as much. The weeds start to come in. And before you know it, you lose those players. One thing I can tell you about that youth, Tyreek McGee, he's been training with us, and since he's come back, when you look at the muscles in that kid's foot, you know, I never used to rate his personality, you know. Actually, I didn't like him. I used to think that he was a little cocky and you know, they gave him a lot of credit that he didn't deserve too early because he would not have continued to develop. But he went to Europe, he got his licks, and instead of becoming a little coward and bowing head, the boy put in some work, you see. When you look at the guy's legs right now, how powerful his thighs are, his muscles, his arms, he realizes he had to put in the work. And when he trains with us, he trains every day. Sometimes I don't allow him to touch the ball with his left foot at all. You know? And he's training and he's working. He's learning how to make quicker through passes and running into the box. So he's putting in the work. And if we could only get this when they were younger, he would not be the only one you could find. That's the problem, is the coaching. It's the coaching and the people surrounding the football.
And if you remember back then, too, that Olympic game, there was a lot of, the coach was Donovan Ducky, I think. He was one of the coaches, and there was a huge
it was Jerome Waite was the coach. I think Jerome Waite ended up winning with the team because the coach was supposed to go, I think, step down or something like that.
Yeah, I think Ducky was here coaching them against St. Kitts, because I know he coached that game. Yeah. And I think he stepped down after that game because of the issues he was having with the JFF. And I remember he said, he raised the voice at the time, that he had no support, he had no fitness trainer, nobody was there. All the players couldn't run for 60 minutes. It was a huge, controversy at the time. And I guess that comes into what you're saying. Maybe the players, it's almost up to the players to keep themselves into that level because they don't have that support.
Well, look at what was being argued the other day with the national team, right? The players were saying, yes, we want more money, but that wasn't a major problem. The problem was there was one physio for 28 players.
Yeah.
These players are traveling in the back of the bus while the administration is in first class. And so they're advocating for a better solution. The problem is that when you look at how the football is being administered from the youth up, it's the same. They end up losing them,
Yeah.
and that's where the challenges are. I mean, even I think you need to get. Go on. Come on, guard. You can cut the
I was gonna give you an example. So 2 years ago, when U17 came to Florida for the qualifiers, some of you might recall, for the World Cup qualifying, the U17 World Cup qualifying last year or 2 years ago in Brazil. So when that team came to Florida, right, and you look at the talent, the raw material we are talking about on that team, right, and with some more standards and some structure, that team should have gone to the World Cup, because even the Trinidad team that beat them, I think 4-3, that Trinidad team had 4 kids from my club start on that team. 4 kids, right? One of them was with you, Craig Butler. Little Andre Fortune, Johnny Fortune. Remember him?
Yeah, man, good boy. Yeah, man, good boy.
4 of those kids was on my club team, right? And if you look at the player for player, it wasn't even close. But the difference in that was the structure and the standards behind them, the discipline, and honestly, I was ashamed that we lose to that team. You know what I'm saying? And you can see it's not about football why we lost the game, right? It's about everything else around it. So I mean, the football, like Craig said, we have the raw material. We just have to blend and get everything else right around the player, the whole player, the whole person. It's not just, what he could do for you on the field, I mean, the kids going out, they have to know they're representing Jamaica. Look, like I tell you earlier, during the Gold Cups and all of them, I travel all over the country to watch them play, do a report on them, sit in the press box, interview them. And it's sad that even at that level, some of the players don't realize, the local players don't realize the responsibility that they have and the potential that they have to better themselves, because they're still behaving like they're still in Jamaica.
Well, part of it is that we have to teach them and we have to support them. As we said, there was a statement earlier about the lack of support in terms of say for instance, the physio and things like that. You know what people would be willing to help if the JFF would just ask?
Yeah.
Just ask the man them now. Just you have some people that have a little patty and them hold on to the patty. And only them alone must eat the patty, not realizing that if they just open their hands, people give them dozens of patties. If you just ask, I mean, Raylan here, right? Shushan, didn't you play Monaco?
Yes, I played Monaco 2011 and 2012 for Charlie Smith.
Did you go to the final?
Yes, I did. And the second year I went to the quarterfinals. So I played Monaco. I went to the final with St. George's.
And what happened after that process?
Well, I played Monaco 2011. What happened? Nothing really. I didn't learn anything that much because it wasn't a learning process. It was more about winning Monaco. It wasn't about learning at the time. You get me? So that after I left Monaco, I came to Phoenix and I went abroad. That opened my eye on a different level. to see that, playing in Jamaica and playing schoolboy football is just, a bit, back, you know. So all of that was, for me, was pointless because all those years I think you should have been in a club developing the right way and learning to use the right foot when you're on the right side, your left foot when you're on the left side. So all those things, I think you didn't learn that in one cup. You went abroad to learn all those basic fundamentals. So for me, all those years that I played was a bit pointless, but it was an experience that to know that when I played in Europe, it's a different level. Yeah.
I think Coach Porter, did you have something to say to? I think you wanted to chime in.
Yeah, yeah. Back to what Craig and Shane was saying. In 2018, I was at a club called Sanjax, which the name Sanjax comes between Santos and Ajax. It was owned by Laza, who is a Jamaican here. Laza, to me, and to a lot of Canadian, is the best youth coach developer in Canada. Most of these players from the Canada national team, Patrick Laza
Patrick Lowe.
Otiba Hutchinson, you know that player?
Yeah, he's one of the best Canadian.
He coached Laza coaching from he was like 6 years old.
Wow.
Julian de Guzman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jonathan de Guzman, who plays for Holland.
Yeah.
Laza is the one that developed all these players.
Wow.
The latest one is a kid called Richie Laurier, the wing back for Toronto FC and in the Canada national team. And we brought a player from Jamaica called Demario Phillips. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know him.
He played for Real Salt Lake, I think.
Phillips. No, Demario Phillips.
No, maybe not.
Yeah.
Not Demario Phillips. He came out of Portmore United. 2018, I brought him here. And he's a defensive midfielder. And I convert him into a number 10. And the first thing I did with Maro was that he loves to hold on the ball and he loves to run with the ball. I said, you can't be playing in the middle of the park and doing that.
Exactly.
So what we're going to do with you is, but you have to adapt to what I want you to do at the system. In training, I limit his touches. The maximum touches he has on the ball is 2. So we play a 1-2 with him. And when he went to Jamaica, he went to a club called Dunby Holding. And he went on a tryout. And Dunby Holding called me and says, I want this player. I said, he's a Portmore player. But I don't think he's registered because he's in the Portmore youth system. So if the player wants to play with you, you can talk to the player and see what happened. And everybody in Jamaica asked me, what have you done to him? Because he came back to Jamaica with 5 more paces than he left with Jamaica. He was quicker on the ball, limit his touches, he passed quicker, he moves quicker, he reads the game well. And I think for the first year in the Premier League in Jamaica, he scored like 9 goals. Yeah, 6 to 9 goals. And he was supposed to come back here. What was that?
Is he still at Dunby Holding?
No, he's back to Portmore. And that earns him a call up to the Jamaica under 23. He's probably about 22 years old now.
I don't know if I know this guy.
You know him. You know him.
So why?
He plays with Lenny Hyde at Clarendon College.
I wonder if this kid is he tall and slim?
No, he's a little bit and slim. Short. He's probably about 5'6", 5'7". I tell you,
you have talented coaches. Where is Laza now? Is he still coaching?
Yes, Laza is coaching, but because of Corona, nothing really going on. You know, I spoke to him up to today. You know,
I
he's
want, I
my
wonder if we
mentor.
can.
So
Hey guys, could we
I want,
let's talk about this a second. Could we create for the summer coming up with not all with the hope that Corona eases up and we get to travel more? Could we create a camp in Jamaica with all of you guys here and bringing some of the players down from your clubs and wherever else in the world that they'd like to come?
Craig, as a matter of fact, we were planning. Okay, I coach as the assistant coach for Masters League One team, and I'm the head coach for the U21s. Now, a bunch of the U21s plays in the League One team. Now, in 2019, I went to Masters in 2019 and work alongside Junior Groves, who is a Jamaican, Captain Jamaica and Harborview.
Yeah, I know him.
Rick Titus, who plays for Trinidad, he's the head coach, and play in the USL in the United States, alongside what's his name, that plays central defense for us in the national team back in Renessimos. He plays with Durant Brown in the back.
Linval Dixon.
Linval Dixon. You know, and we mold this team together and we won the Canadian Championship in 2019. And this is the third division in Canada. Because of Corona, we would play in the Canadian Championship, which the pro clubs played. We were supposed to play York 9, which was our first game. And when we beat them, not if, you know, when we beat them, we would play Toronto FC. And Corona came and wiped out everything. But I think they fast track us to, if the football starts this season, we're going to play for this season in the Canadian Championship. And we were planning to pre-season in Jamaica. Harborview invited us down, and we were going to bring the senior team down there, the U21 and the U17s, to pre-season down in Jamaica. But because of what's going on now, I think we got to push it forward to next year.
Yeah, let's see what happens because it's something that we could do. And so you guys are not training now?
No, we're not training now because of certain protocols. But what's happening is that I think June the 2nd, they're trying to lift some of the lockdown. So I heard we're gonna start training like 25 people. Hopefully that works, and then we'll gradually phase in and start doing full-scale training. But I don't think we will be playing.
How are you managing the training of your players now? Are you training them virtually, or are you just
Virtually.
Everybody
Virtually. They're training virtually.
Because that is extremely important, and I believe when Phoenix has not stopped training, period, not even one day this entire time. We have adapted. We have gone to where the players actually come and stay at my house for months at a time. Thank God I have a big enough house so them can stay. And we train on the front garden, my friend, train on the front lawn. We continue training. We run on the hills. We make sure we keep going. Now, as a result of that, the Phoenix boys, we have this youth named Dejan Richards. He's 6'3". His uncle is Nick Richards, that just got signed with the NBA, the 7-footer, right? And the youth is just phenomenal. We have Dante Duncan, the whole of them. We have
I was watching a clip on him, and I was asking a few people in Jamaica, like what's his name, Puny, that used to be at Portmore, about him. I think he runs his own academy now in Clarendon. So, and I said, what about this kid? He says this kid is phenomenal.
And the kid is 15 years old now. 15. And it's not a tall, maga, skinny 15. It's a massive beast 15. at 6'2", 6'3".
Wow.
You know, and what we're doing is we want to be able to send our players out for the experience. Send some to Canada, send some to the US. We need partners that are going to protect our interests. Because part of the big problem is, you send a youth like Whisper, another little one we have named Dylan or Xander, Dante to Canada, to a club. Before you know it, some man down them ears, and whispering sweet nothings, and next thing you know, the poor player is confused. He stops working hard. So we have to, for Phoenix, we secure our thing, it's even when I send my players to Belgium, is a man who I trust. Dimitri the Conde is over there, along with some other coaches. So what I want to do is to set up a relationship where I can get the benefits of you as a coach and of, say, Shane, and your players can also get the benefits of me. Because I might have qualities that are great, but you might also have qualities that are great that I may not have. And in the end, when the players
True.
are at the highest level, Jamaica benefits and the player themselves benefit. And so I think that we should look at how we can partner to get those players out, And Mr. Stennett over there.
So Craig.
But I have a group.
Working
I have
on.
a group coming. I have a group coming. I mean, so I don't know if I can set it depending on the timing because we have a group with the next Jamaican. He runs a college team up in New York that is coming and they're actually scheduled to play Mount Pleasant because I wasn't sure what was happening. So, but that is at the beginning of August. So I don't know because they can stay. I can have them arrange a schedule if everyone is going to be here, so they could be a part of whatever little mini competition you may be doing. Or you understand because they have that same kind of system there. He's a Jamaican over there coaching as well that looks out for Jamaican and want to do exchange so we can send players from over there out here. But I told him that outside of you and Mount Pleasant, I don't know of any proper systems that I would say, here's a trustworthy youth system to put a player in. So that's someone else.
Is it Ziggy? Is it Ziggy? Is it Ziggy?
I think that's his name. Now I'll get his name. I know his name.
Douglas Cunningham?
Yeah, man. And he's a Jamaican. I think Douglas Cunningham is his name.
That's my friend, man.
And he's a Jamaican.
Yeah, he used to coach Wilmington University. I think he's the technical director of one of those colleges right now.
You understand? So there are Jamaicans over there doing stuff who are willing to come and see and learn and add and help and do the exchange thing. It's just to make the connections.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's make it happen.
Yeah, I think we're about to hit an hour and a half. It's kind of flew by. So I think what we can do is go to each person, see if you want to say any. I'm sure we can keep this going for another hour, but it's
for you. You want Andrew beat you? Curfew, so we reach
yeah, I guess. But yeah, no. I mean, we can get everyone's last words. See, if you want to start with Mr. Porter, then we'll go down to Shane, and then Pastor Stennett. I mean, take as long as you'd like. But yeah, Mr. Porter, do you have any final words for people watching and just in general for people who are followers of Jamaican football?
I just want to say, as Shane says and Craig emphasize, we have the best raw material in Jamaica, but we have to come together as a people and as coaches and see if we can work together. Craig has a brand, and I think if Jamaica adopts Craig's brand and Craig's idea, we can go very far because he knows football, and I know he knows football. He probably don't know me that well, but I think I play a couple games with him in high school. You know.
Hey. Who did they play for?
Stats.
How you want that?
I know you was a wing back.
Yes. Which team? Which school did they play for?
St. Andrew Technical, man.
Stats.
Yeah,
So
man.
you play with
Lansdale Johnson.
yeah, and I think the Plumpy was out there at one point, you know?
Yeah, but Plump was before me.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, man. Starts to play, starts a couple of games well.
Yeah. So
Oh.
if we come together and adapt Craig's brand, because look at what he gets out. Leon Bailey, in the next 2 years, I think he's the best footballer in the world. I get a lot of stick in Canada because of saying that. But I can tell people that Leon Bailey is wonderful talent. And if he moves to another club like a Man City, a Liverpool, you know, I think this kid can be the best footballer in the world in the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's big statements, but
Huge
I don't
statement,
think anybody
and I respect and appreciate that. And on behalf of Leon, I'm saying to you that I'm going to tell him this, and I'm going to make sure that he watch the show. And I can tell you, if there's one key thing I know about that kid, is anyway believe in him and he feel like people behind him, he will turn up. He's a prime time youth. He will turn up. He'll do everything to make it happen. So thank you, Devon, for that.
I follow him on Instagram, and I even try I send him a message, but I haven't gotten any reply yet to get well.
He probably gets,
you know, because I want to see him on the field again.
Thousands.
I want to see him on the field. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, Shane, did you have last words?
Well, again, guys, thanks for having me. I think if we don't follow up on all these comments, suggestions, and you're probably getting a group exchange these, put them in paper and not just go one ears and go to the other, and try to put something in place really to try to move forward. You know, start small, we go big. I know the tournament that Craig mentioned; those are things that we already thought about. You know, and the parents in our club, anywhere we say they go, they go. You know, who's in Benfica two summers ago, 4 years ago we was at Man City. You know, I mean, wherever we have to go, they'll go. And football, Jamaica in general, they just gotta embrace what we got. You know, instead of looking outside. You know, a kid like Leon should be idolized. A kid like Leon Bailey should be on every corner in Jamaica, on a poster somewhere. You know, because that's greatness in the making, and kids need to see that. You know, they don't have to go outside the country to look at something that they want to aspire to be. And I don't think that Leon Bailey or Craig Butler or Phoenix is being embraced like it should. It's people from overseas that are showing the love. When you know, I think if we as a whole and look at what we have and focus on that, you know, Craig know everything, or all right, we're not saying Craig know it all or Craig know everything, but at the end of the day, they have something that works. It's proven, you know, and we just need to try to make baby steps and to get people to open their eyes and try to embrace what's there, because again, the raw material, boy, it's everywhere in Jamaica, everywhere. And you know, hopefully, you know, like I said, let's try to get on a chat group, emails, and try to put these ideas on paper, you know, not just talk about them.
Yeah, well, it's one thing that Craig does is action. So, you know, whenever he says he's doing something, it's usually done.
It have to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'm looking forward to this tournament. You know what? I'm putting you in charge of it, the new Phoenix Cup. Yeah, the new Phoenix Cup. Let's get it going. Let's bring in all the guys from overseas. U21, you know, a U17, a U15, and bring them in. We have the contacts for the Belgian clubs as well. They would love to travel. The Austrian clubs, they'd love to travel. Can you imagine that cultural interchange? Yeah, it would be awesome. You know, it's just to get it done, and you know, New and sick already. So,
Craig, take a look at your phone, Craig.
Oh, let me just quickly so thanks Mr. Butler, Brandon, and Shoe Shine. Big up yourself. Mr. Porter, you know we have a link outside of this, a nice meeting, Shane. What I'll say is that listen,
Okay.
I notice there are a lot of things happening underneath the surface, and my prayer every day, Mr. Butler know what we're talking about. Like I can't wait to see it happen because when it happens, Jamaica's football is going to transform. So I'm praying, Mr. Butler, that whole, the whole thing,
Yeah, man. What do you say?
it happened.
I'm going to cut you off and say it. We're working right now with some people that we are going to put in the facilities where I say we will have that the opportunity to have 4 or 5 fields, a mini stadium, a turf field, dorms, everything. And it looked like it's gonna happen. And it will be phenomenal. It will be a first of its kind in the Caribbean, and we're looking forward to it. Continue,
Yeah, man. So let me just say, I don't say Leon Bailey, right? I say LB, right? Because that's my baller. I hear you mention some LB9.
This man Christian little Leon or Leo's son?
No, so we hear someone that talk about. I hear they talking about other clubs and they don't mention Arsenal. He's a savior for Arsenal, like how Jesus is the savior. But let me just give the people some assurance because I hear somebody ask about Curacao, and let me say this: the crop of players that Jamaica have right now, and I know it's not down to Leon Bailey. If Leon Bailey plays anything near to his best, Jamaica going to the World Cup. So don't worry yourself about Curacao, USA, Mexico. If Leon Bailey in this World Cup campaign plays to his full potential, he has the potential by his play to bring Jamaica to the World Cup. And we also have a world-class goalkeeper that if he were in Europe, he would be in the top 10 in the world. He's not in the top 10 in the world because he's not in Europe.
Well, we need to get to Europe. That's the thing. We need to get to Europe.
And gentlemen, you don't see nothing yet. I'm looking at 2026. I have about 30 players in and around the age of 18 to 21 years old who have contacted me out of England. You see this kid called Kedo Taylor-Hart from Arsenal? He contacted me personally because he wants to play for Jamaica. He's 18 years old. And football.
Hold on, let me cut you. This is where the problem is with the JFF. I've said it to Speed. I said, listen, you must have 3 national teams. The A squad, the players just outside the A squad that is training, and then the youth that are at the highest quality that you're trying to put into the A squad. 3 different trainings. You see all that youth there? You bring him in and have him at work, have him working, have them eyes on him. Every time you have an international break, you bring him down. And yes, you do have so much money, JFF, but guess what? Anyway, you take those type of steps, those positive steps, corporate Jamaica will back you. They will back you. I'm telling you. I was in corporate for many years.
Absolutely.
I was cheap and I was their biggest sponsor. We will back you if you try to do the positive thing. This player played Manning Cup, went to the final, did well, played in Malta, played in Slovakia, Belgium, all over the place. Them don't know about him. And because you're a quiet person, Devon, you look like a man who just very good and loving with people and good deal with people and think, well, you don't open up your mouth, man. You need to open up your mouth. You need to make people know your players. And we can use this as a medium.
No, but we talk about this.
Like that. I would want to see that player he can train with some of the Phoenix man. Bring him down. I will send up my players to you too. And then get a piece of what you can offer. What position you used to play, Devon?
Midfield.
What position? Midfield? Yeah, man.
Midfield. You know what? That's the right side.
But Mr. Porter, you know this too, that we have Jamaicans, actual Jamaicans right now who play in the Premier League who are born in Jamaica, you know.
Yeah.
Right, Mr. Porter know that. Born in Jamaica, you know. Starting in the Premier League, you know.
With him.
That wants to play for Jamaica, you know.
I'm in contact with him.
The man having passport to them travel to England with a Jamaican passport.
Yeah.
Or the Caricom passport. So it's not like he needs. And these are players. And I'm saying, young player, under 23.
Yeah.
Bring him in.
Yeah. Well, I think, I think you guys should be coming back on more, or maybe every week or something, because I can tell people are commenting about it. Very informative. You know, they say everything here's the truth. So we hope you guys can come back. I want to ask you guys to please share and like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, Craig Butler's Football Unfiltered. Share with your friends, family, everybody, because it's going to be every week. Unless, of course, Craig is out in Europe. So
find even if I'm here, we can still do it the way they do it. I can do it too.
It's true.
And gentlemen, before we go, you notice how happy I am? And I'm in mourning right now. But football, I'm excited about football. And I'm excited about the Jamaican national team. You know, I just lost my mom on Mother's Day.
Oh.
You know, and we will be burying my mom next Friday. You know, but as I said, life goes on, and God knows why. You know, I mean, she was only 73 years old, wasn't sick that she was in bed. She was active and going, but she has a few pulmonary problems, breathing problems, and from ever since I know my mom, she has diabetes. So, you know, I think God knows why she didn't suffer. You know, but may she rest in peace. You know.
Yeah, man, rest in peace.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Well, I mean, I know what me to do in my mother, you know. I pray that I go before. And that's hard, you know.
We really appreciate
it's tough, man. It's tough.
In those circumstances.
And thanks for coming on. That will show you how much you love football.
Yeah, man. Things like this keep me going, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
Condolences and but guys, let's share information in the chat so we could try to get something going. Okay, my contact is in there. I'd love to hear from the guys that have this information. With all the other people on the chat, let's not just let this a talk.
Yeah,
thing,
well, Craig, really you can share my number with Shane, Craig.
Yeah, my number.
Yeah, everybody.
Omar has my number already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Shane, you're the only one old Shane. All of we have all of we number except Shane. So Mr. Butler gonna help you with that and Brandon.
Email and phone number in the chat. So please let's make this something meaningful.
And Shane, when you get my number, don't be a stranger and just call me. You know, let's talk.
All right, guys.
For sure.
All right, yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys so much.
Love. And guess what?
Love.
Keep working out there. Keep putting out your effort. Players, keep fighting. Even in COVID, no matter where you are in the world, keep fit, keep focused. Opportunity favors the prepared. Mind. One love.
Strong words. One love.
All right, and last words. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends, everything. That was a great conversation. Ray, do you have anything you want to? You're good? Okay. All right.
Big up King Show.
I guess just really quick, just some shout outs. Kamarway, thank you for the comment. The Moy saying rest in peace to Mr. Porter's mother. Another comment from Kamarway. Great show, informative by Sal 11 Clips. And just, thank you. I mean,
all right, Young, big up. All right, one of my top young players over there in New York. big up to Oret and his son, you know?
Yeah.
And to his beautiful wife, Kareem.
Yeah. And thank you, Gunner Boss, for your comments. I think he asked a question. I think we addressed a little bit of it about Leon.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you guys so much. So we'll see you next week, and like and subscribe. The channel's growing, so it's only the 3rd week. So
Okay.
thank you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.